What if the reason we still feel exposed, drained, or unsettled isn't because we're not being vulnerable enough, but because we're sharing in spaces that were never meant to hold us? In today's episode of Cut to the Chase Today, we're talking about discernment, how knowing what to share, when to share, and who to share with is a form of emotional maturity, nervous system protection, and self respect. We're exploring why oversharing can delay healing, how not every listener has empathy for you and what you're going through, how protecting our inner world restores peace. So take a break and a breath, settle in, and let's get into it. Hey y'all, I'm Madison Simone Chase, also known as Miss Chase, raised by an incredible single mom who is my biggest fan and my best friend and my BFF for real. I am a celebrity personal trainer, fitness and wellness expert, and sports and entertainment media host. Born in Fort Worth, raised in Dallas, and built in Los Angeles. I trained at Juilliard with the School of American Ballet, becoming the world's only three-time ESPN Miss Fitness champion, appearing in over 450 fitness DVDs. The first of the 450 DVDs was led by celebrity trainer, the GOAT, Gunnar Peterson, R.G. Patizzle, known for training the Kardashian family. As a personal trainer, a celebrity personal trainer myself, I've worked with Robert Patterson of Twilight and Batman, Chris Tucker of Rush Hour, and Amber Riley of Glee, Dancing with the Stars, and The Masked Singer champion. And that's just a few people. And as a sports and entertainment media host, I've had the joy of interviewing Richard Branson, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Emma Stone, Viola Davis, Tyler Perry, Tiana Taylor, Justin Baldoni, and Issa Rae. And lots more. I share my story to honor the sacrifices my mom planted in me so that I could blossom and flourish into the woman I'm still becoming. So wherever you're listening from, I want you to pull up a digital chair, grab some hot or cold herbal tea, and welcome to my cozy home of Cut to the Chase at 8, a 15-minute micro-learning moment for macro living. And I am so overjoyed that you are here because this is where we're going to explore life, spirit, mind, and body through lived experiences, mine and yours, and intentional growth. So join me daily for just 15 minutes, that's it, twice a day at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central, because this is your daily pause for a cause, for clarity, for wellness, for allowing grace in this space, and for intentional decision making. Each episode, my offer to you is 3 keys and 1 question to reflect on. Something practical, something grounded, and hopefully something you could carry with you throughout your day or night, whatever time you're listening to this episode. So, let's breathe in together. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's cut the noise. Let's get clear. And let's get ready. Let's get set. And let's grow. All right. So we are settled in. So wherever you are listening from right now, if you're driving, if you're walking, cooking, resting, working out, moving, doing some kind of construction or whatever you're doing, I ask that you let this be a pause and a soft place for you to land. And here's today's question, or this evening's question, that I want to start with, or this morning. What if discernment is the missing piece in our healing? We're often told to be open, to be vulnerable, to share our story, our testimony. And vulnerability is powerful, or it can be. But vulnerability without discernment can actually delay healing. So, context. Vulnerability without containment. We live in a culture that rewards exposure. Pain becomes content. Pain becomes a reality television show. I think I've heard some people refer to that as the struggle Olympics, where you're comparing, oh, which story is going to get the most likes, or which story can people relate to most. And emotion becomes currency, and ownership and oversharing becomes normalized because people want to own it, or networks want to own it. But healing requires containment. Not everything that hurts needs an audience. Not every moment needs documentation. Not every feeling needs to be processed publicly. Some things need time. Some things need safety. Some things need privacy. And some things need space. Which brings me to key number 1. Vulnerability without discernment is not healing. It's just oversharing. And vulnerability, it should be sacred. And sacred things require care. When we share without discernment, we feel exposed instead of supported. We feel drained instead of relieved. We feel unseen instead of being held. Because being heard is not the same as being cared for. Healing happens when vulnerability meets safety. Another lived experience that I want to share. Learning when not to share. There were seasons when I thought transparency meant strength. I shared because I was told it was healthy. I explained because I thought clarity would bring peace. I opened up because I wanted to be understood. But I learned something really important. Some people don't want to support your healing. They want to profit from it, or they want to figure out how they fit in. And especially living in big cities like Los Angeles, and even moving back to Texas, I realized that people are transactional. And I don't know if that's because we're so disconnected and we have very little empathy for whatever people are going through. But people are very transactional. Like, what can I get out of this? And so in that, they want access to whatever they think they could pull from you, almost like a vampire. So they want access to your emotions. They want to know how you feel, not to empathize or care or give you any kind of care or concern, but just to leverage it and hold it over you. And once I stopped explaining myself to unsafe people, unsafe listeners, my nervous system finally exhaled, which brings me to key number 2. Discernment is emotional maturity, and discernment is knowing who has earned access, who has shown consistency, who listens without judgment, and who protects what you share. Because discernment says, not now, not here, and not with you. And probably not ever. And that isn't selfish, it's just wise and using wisdom. Lived experience, again. Safe spaces are quiet. Real safe spaces don't require performance. They don't rush your healing. They don't turn your pain into a conversation, or they don't turn what you've experienced with someone else into a discussion with other people or gossip. They don't demand updates. They don't check in and ask, oh, did you and that person have a conversation, because I'm leaning more to their side than yours. And they let you be quiet. They let you rest. They let you process without pressure. And that's how you know it's safe. Which brings me to key number 3. Protecting our inner world restores peace. Peace returns when we stop bleeding in public. Hmm. When we stop bleeding in public. And I think I shared that sometimes when we don't deal with our traumas, if we've been cut, we bleed on other people. And so not everything needs to be shared because when we choose privacy over performance, healing over visibility, wisdom over urgency, because what is sacred needs a sacred space. What is intimate needs an intimate space. And some things need to be protected. And not everybody earns your safe space just because they love bomb and say nice things to you. And I realize that with a lot of men who potentially call themselves dating and or courting, like they'll say nice things, but the actions don't match their words. So ladies, be careful. And protecting what you value it's not fearful, it is self-respect. Because when you really feel protected and you value what you're sharing, you're not fearful. You're brave and you're willing to share. So let's bring this all together. Healing doesn't require an audience. It requires safety, time, truth, and discernment. And when we choose wisely, our nervous system softens, our spirit steadies, and peace begins to return. So, my question for reflection. Where in your life are you being invited to practice discernment? And what could change for you and I if we protected our inner world more intentionally? Because one thing that I've noticed in social media and the way we see celebrities now doing social media, we see them sharing more of their intimate details. Like, there used to be a time where we had no idea where celebrities lived, but now you have instances where people can Google people's addresses, or people are sharing their information and people are discovering where they live, even if they live in a gated community. And so there was a time where you didn't know what someone's house looked like, or their living room looked like, or their bedroom looked like. We had no idea, but now we're in this season and space where celebrities are not only sharing, but they're matching the energy and the so-called vulnerability of crying on cue to get attention and or numbers. And that doesn't mean that all influencers are crying on cue, but we see these insta famous or influencers becoming just as large as. And it's interesting when I think about the guys who are famous. Guys who are famous, they do more skits, but when a woman that is like an influence, when she shares like her more intimate details, that's not generally the people that I'm thinking about. It's not that they are. The guys do things like game shows, or thinking about the young man who does the Need for Speed, or they're more jokesters. But when a woman shares her pain and her sorrow and her grief and her intimate details, it's interesting to, like, I just thought about that. So, before we go, I want to say thank you. It's truly been an honor sharing this time with you. And let's quickly revisit today's 3 keys. Key number 1, vulnerability without discernment is not healing. Discernment is emotional maturity. Protecting your inner world restores peace. And your 1 reflection question, Where in your life are you being invited to practice discernment, and what would change if you protected your inner world more intentionally? So, if today's episode offered you clarity, grounding, or a pause for a cause that you didn't know you needed, or if anything I've shared pricked your heart or lit a spark, please subscribe and share this with someone you care about. Leave a comment and or something that you got out of today's episode. So this isn't a monologue but a dialogue. And please leave a 5-star rating because it helps this space grow. Let's close with one breath. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. and again at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is Cut to the Chase at 8 with me, Madison Simone Chase. Let's cut the noise. Let's get clear. Let's get ready, set, grow, and go, and be great. Blessings to you and yours until tomorrow.